The history of web accessibility laws, explained simply. Imagine trying to navigate a bustling city but facing barriers at every turn. This scenario reflects the journey toward web accessibility laws. Initially, these laws focused on ensuring physical spaces were accessible to everyone. Over time, this focus expanded to include the digital world, recognizing that the internet must be open to all individuals, including those with disabilities. The journey began in 1968 with the Architectural Barriers Act. This was the first federal law requiring that buildings funded by the government be accessible. Fast forward to 1973, and the Rehabilitation Act was enacted. This law mandated that federal programs and employment opportunities be accessible to individuals with disabilities. A significant step occurred in 1990, when Section 508 was added to the Rehabilitation Act. This amendment specifically required that federal electronic and information technology, including websites, be accessible. This meant that federal agencies had to ensure their digital content was usable by everyone, including employees and the general public. In 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act was introduced. This law prohibited discrimination against individuals with disabilities in various areas, including public accommodations. However, it initially focused on physical spaces, leaving some uncertainty about its application to websites. In 1996, the United States Department of Justice clarified that the Americans with Disabilities Act does apply to the Internet. They stated that websites are considered public accommodations. This ruling meant that websites must be accessible, just like physical buildings, ensuring that individuals with disabilities are not excluded from digital services. However, interpretations of this law varied in courts, leading to ongoing discussions. Around the same time, the World Wide Web Consortium released the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines in 1999. These guidelines provide practical standards for making web content accessible. They include recommendations like using text alternatives for images and ensuring that websites can be navigated using a keyboard. For those learning hypertext markup language and web design, understanding this history is essential. It explains why accessibility is important and what legal expectations exist. By incorporating best practices, like using semantic hypertext markup language elements, providing alternative text for images, and ensuring keyboard usability, web creators can align with these laws. This not only meets legal requirements, but also creates more inclusive and engaging web pages for all users. The evolution of web accessibility laws reflects a growing commitment to ensuring that everyone can access information and services online. Key moments in this journey include the Americans with Disabilities Act, the 1996 clarification by the Department of Justice, the 1998 Section 508 Amendment, and the 1999 Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. These laws and standards guide web creators in building sites that are accessible to everyone, reinforcing the idea that access to information on the web should be equal for all individuals, regardless of their abilities.